Just do business.
Hey, y'all. We're here with Stephanie Page. We're just doing business, and we're speaking about business, and we basically let the world know who you are. And you could tell us a little bit about yourself before you get into like business, how you cultivate business, your profession, and break some things down for us about like who you are in your journey.
Okay. Who I am. I'm, like you said, I'm Stephanie Page. I am a 32-year-old woman. Pronouns are she, hers, hers. Let's see. I don't like to dive into straight away about what I do because as an occupation, because I don't feel like that defines who I am as a person. As a person, I am a caring, loyal, loving, very funny human individual who just wants to leave this earth better than when I found it. That's my whole goal in life, and that's what motivates me, is just to make the world a better place.
So, like growing up, like, what would you say was like your favorite thing to do? Like what was the first thing you told your parents? Like, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do when I grow up.
That's so funny. You want to dive? Yeah, no, I was thinking about this morning. So me and my siblings, when we were younger, once we found out how to use the video camera, which was back in the late 90s, it's not anywhere near what the technology is these days. The editing was, you would have to, stop and then hit record, and it was on a tape. So it wasn't like you could move things around. But anyways, me and my siblings used to make movies. And I always wanted to be an actress. And my parents were a little more, I don't want to use the word practical, but they just, my dad's an engineer, my mom's a nurse. They didn't really see show business as an option. Because, it's a very difficult field to get into, especially if you don't have the right networking connections. But yeah, for fun, we used to make movies all the time. And I remember telling them I wanted to be an actress. And I used to be in the school plays, the church plays as well. Did a lot of behind the scenes stuff with that. And because I was not a very good actress like I thought I was. And then I just never really thought it was something that I could turn into a career. It was always just sort of a hobby. But now I'm slowly finding out that if you really want something, you can do it. I mean, I recently got pulled onto a writer's team for a show. It's not picked up by a network yet. It's, just kind of in what's called writer duet. That's where we write our scripts.
Break that down, writer. How do you? Okay, break that part down.
Okay.
Like the writer. What is it?
Writer duet. That's just the software we use for the scripts.
Okay, so break that part down with the scripts. Like, if I wanted to get into like screenwriting, where can I find this writer duet?
So that's an excellent question, because I like I said, I'm on a team, and every single person on that team has been doing film since 1998. So I'm just sort of following under their footsteps. Okay. But Writer, it's a software program, so you could probably download it from Google or what have you.
Right. So tell us about that software. So it's
sort of like Microsoft Word in the sense that it helps format. Because, when it comes to screenwriting, there's a formula. It's not just dialogue. How do I even say this? You have to start with the location, interior. We've got Selena, she's in her house, she's in the kitchen, she's chopping up carrots. And then even so-and-so is about to walk in, you still have to add that part. So that way when someone who has no idea who you are or what have you reads the script, they can totally envision what's going on, to the point where they can even hear the inflection and the sort of cadence that you have on each actor's line, just by, setting, and not too much detail. You don't want to go into things that don't matter. We don't need to know the wall is blue.
No. Keep on going. We like that. We need to know if the wall is blue.
Okay, yeah. I guess for some of those people, they need to know the wall is blue.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so you just want to put in as much detail. And like I said, there's a very specific formula that goes into each script, no matter, even if it's a commercial, a comedy, a romance, what have you, because everyone reads scripts the same. And if you don't have that formula right, no, the right people that you want to put that in their lap, they're not going to even look at it, because they're just going to see, okay, this person doesn't know what they're doing.
Wow.
So
okay. okay, you broke down the surface of the script, right?
Right.
Okay. Take me beneath the surface.
Okay.
I'm an actor. I'm reading this script.
Okay.
What should I be looking for to make sure it's a masterpiece script for the people that want to become screenwriters?
Right.
And we're gonna dive into that part. How should I know? What would I know? Or this is the bad script, or this is a good script.
I hear you. I think it all is going to depend. I mean, just the same as like, there's so many movies out there where I think they're masterpieces and other people think they're garbage. So I can't really say what defines a masterpiece script, but what I will say is that they definitely, even if you're Aaron Sorkin, who is a very well-known screenwriter, they take time and they are in drafts. The first one, we probably wrote the first pilot about a year ago, and we have been editing, because right now it sounds like that takes a long time for one episode, but it's just because that's the foundation, and we just had to change it so much. And I'm the type of person, I don't know if this is like a type A thing, but I'm one of those people that if I don't succeed in something almost immediately, I give up pretty quickly. And that's you can't do that in that industry, because you're gonna be that. Any actor knows. They've had terrible auditions. They've had terrible movies. I'm sure even many screenwriters that have written masterpieces can show you they have had garbage. So I've had to kind of overcome that very quickly, which is hard. It's kind of like I go to the gym. I do one sit up and I'm like, where are the abs? So yeah, you and a lot of times I mean I've written stuff that's terrible that I thought was really good. And it sometimes just doesn't translate to people, especially when it comes to humor. And yeah, so you just have to kind of get over and just understand that you are going to change that script, or even, and like I said, I'm in a team with 3 other people. There's 4 of us total. And yeah, we've been in meetings where they're like, no, they don't say that's dumb, but they're like, no, we're not doing that. And it took a while for me not to get offended by it. That was very hard. But I feel like it's also made me a better person, because now I have more of a confidence of just like, you can't please everybody. And I'm such a people pleaser. So getting into this sort of, right now, I guess it's just kind of a hobby for me, because it hasn't gone anywhere yet. And I hope it does. And even if nothing comes of it, it has been so much fun creating an entire world out of thin air. And it's also hard, because, I know my dialogue and how I have conversations with people, but to create dialogue from 2 different characters that are nothing like me and how they would react with each other, and you have to separate sort of what you would say from that. So that's another thing, another reason why I said these drafts have just been over and over again. And you have to be really, really patient, which is very hard for me as well.
Right. So how do you go about, like, okay, you're in a team. Mm-hmm. Like, is it a leader of the team?
There is.
Okay, break that down.
And I think that's very important to have at least one ringleader. Like I said, this sort of fell into my lap about a year ago. A buddy of mine, we bartended together in a catering company. He's an actor. We just became really good friends. And his mentor is the one who's in charge. His name is Armando Leduc. Like I said, he's been in film since 1998. And so, yeah, he definitely, he's the one, first of all, he's the one who created it. It's his idea. He put me on because he liked my humor. It's actually, the show is a Latino cast that takes place in New Orleans. I'm clearly white, and I've never been to New Orleans. So I was very surprised to come on this, and sometimes that can be sort of difficult, but I think it's very important to have someone in charge to sort of, get the meetings going. Otherwise, I feel like we would all kind of wait for each other. So it's very important to have that person. And also, like I said, he knows this industry very well. He has a clear vision of what he wants for the show, and he sort of brings us on to bounce them back, get more ideas, and has also a soundboard for his. Right. So, yeah.
Right. So okay, so with that situation, do you pitch the show? Like tell me more, okay, the show get written. Mm-hmm. Because, people want to know.
Right.
Like, I'm going into this, I want to learn this.
Right.
You know, okay, we write the show, right? What's next? Like, after you write, like, the show, like, go into the avenues. And the different avenues of what type of things you can do with it.
I'm going to be honest, that would be such a great question for Armando, because I think that there's a way where you can just send a script in to someone, but we want to film it. So what we're going to start doing, we want it to go into somewhere like Netflix or Hulu.
Gotcha.
But again, because we don't have those sort of connections quite yet, we're going to start out making it a YouTube web series.
Right.
And that's what I would suggest to someone.
Right.
Definitely, give people the idea of what you're looking for. And also, if we start getting followers and it starts becoming a hit on, somewhere like YouTube, then we can go from there. Like I said, I don't know the exact steps of what that would have, but that's what we're starting it on YouTube.
Right.
Just to see, and because honestly, if nobody bites, even if because we're going to share it to our friends and family and see how much we can get out there. But and if it doesn't even bite through that, then.
What do you want? Okay. What avenues do you want it to go? Is it like, I want it to go to HBO, Netflix? Are you like are you the new age of things like Hulu, Netflix, or are you with the old school way, like, man, I just wanted to go to ABC, HBO. What is your vision of what you would want?
I would love to see this on Netflix, Hulu, one of those main, because I don't watch too much TV, but when I do, it's not your basic, ABC, NBC cable anymore. People, the first thing they do is they're on their smart TV. They go to HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix. I feel for, their primary watching television. So yeah, that's the goal. But like I said, right now we're just going to start with YouTube and see where that bites. But.
Right. So how do you feel about like now? Because it's a lot of people out there that don't even know, like, you have the younger generation, they don't really know about screenwriters.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know about software. They only know about the actor,
Right.
They know about the director or the producer, right?
Yes.
They do.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, I can't even tell you what the Carter Bays, the two people who created How I Met Your Mother, I don't even know what they look like. But I can tell you, but everyone thinks of it, through the eyes of the actor. And a lot of times I feel like people think it's a very glamorous, I'm sure it is, but the actual job itself, being on set, or even, like I said, screenwriting, it's very time consuming. It can be very boring. It's a lot of weight. Even just today to do this interview, it took a good 30 minutes to set up a camera and some lights. How do I say this? Sorry, I just lost my complete train of thought. Where we're going? What was the question?
Go ahead, like the avenues of. The avenues in the sense of.
I guess
they don't know behind the scenes of the screenwriting.
Right. Yeah. So. The writers room. It will be there for hours, and we'll get like 2 scenes done. So I think people also don't realize the time it takes for that. And there's a lot of roles that go into filmmaking. Just between producer, creator, director, obviously actors. You've got even people that are stand-in, which means while actors are getting ready, we have warm bodies sitting in where they are so we can do lighting and all that stuff. Like I said, I'm not too familiar. I've only been on a few sets, mostly as an extra, which I would not recommend doing. That is the most boring job in the world. And you get minimum wage for it. So you'll be there all day and get like $100, which is nothing. But if you want to be on a set and get that experience, that's the route. I just wouldn't do that again because I was bored out of my mind and it was cold.
Yeah. So going to that part, because like I'm loving this story. I'm loving where you're going with it now.
But you're probably wondering how to network or how to sort of get your feet wet in this.
So the extra, do you think that being an extra is where you get your feet wet, or where you learn these different?
Extras rarely get. It's such a. I don't want to say it's a joke. It's not a joke of a job. It's just so low. They literally look at you like a warm body. You know, you're not going to be able to talk to the right people on that show that you want to work on if you're an extra. They don't. You're kind of treated like a commoner. For me, I would recommend.
Now let me speak.
Go
Okay, getting treated like a commoner, right? How can we change that? What do you think? Because if going for how can we change that? It's like changing minimum wage, right? Raising.
Oh my gosh!
So
what started?
Right. So how can we change that part of the business? You know, not to go off the.
What you mean, like an extra getting discovered?
Yeah, like an extra getting discovered, an extra getting connected. They want to know.
Right. No, I completely agree. They're not going to be able to do it on the set because when I tell you from beginning to end, it's so time. It's just so time sensitive. Like I said, you're not going to be able to sit down with the director at any point during that, or like I said, or a casting person, because they're on such a schedule. I mean. And honestly, I mean, once from the time you start filming till the end, I mean, it almost always goes over time. It's gonna have to just come from that person. That you know, if you're an extra and you want to go further, you are gonna have to push yourself, motivate yourself, constantly put yourself out there. I really wish I started doing that earlier in my 20s. I mean, 32, I'm still young, but I didn't really try at all to get into that business. Like I said, I was an extra for this one show on Discovery Channel just because I was sleeping over at a friend's house and she said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" So
I mean, that still goes on your resume.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it.
And yeah, you can't even see me in the background, but but there's other ways. For example, the restaurant industry. That's how I met my buddy who's an actor. I was bartending and he moved to Atlanta from New Orleans, was training to be a bartender. We became friends and like I said, he's like, "You have a really good skill for writing some comedy. Like you should get into that." And then like I said, and then his mentor is the one who pulled me in for this project he's been working on. So I mean, you never know where, and like a lot of people in this film industry are in the restaurant industry or hospitality because it's a great way to, pay bills and it's a flexible schedule while they're trying to get their career going.
Yeah, their chops up.
Never shame anyone that works in a restaurant or hospitality. We're good people.
And it's a great networking.
It is.
I mean, you meet so many different people.
Absolutely.
I mean, like
go ahead, sorry.
One of the biggest YouTubers, she started in a hospitality business and she built her YouTube page.
Absolutely. And I think everyone at some point should be a server or bartender. I don't even care if you're trying to be a lawyer or a doctor. I just think it's important to understand what we put ourselves through because, a lot of people don't understand how we live off tips and, especially right now with COVID and if you feel that service is slow somewhere, they're short-staffed. Like we woke up in a whole new world. And it definitely changed the hospitality and restaurant industry. So
you basically saying like even with the hospitality business, like bartending, it teaches you customer service?
Absolutely. And it's taught me so much between patients and because you have to think about when you deal with drunk people. And
but I think the biggest thing is this networking.
Networking though. I've met a lot of people. A guy gave me his business card the other day. He's a screenwriter that I met when I was at a bartending gig.
Right.
And he was just like, "We can always get together and I can just help you out, give you some advice." So that's great for that. You just never know who you're going to meet in that situation. And I've met just even down to just friends. There's just always good people.
So take me into with for yourself, right?
Okay.
At your leisure, do you practice at home?
I do.
Take me into how do you get in the frame of mind or the frame of thought of writing, and how do those writing juices just pop into your brain?
Honestly, for me, a lot of it, because I have worked in restaurant for so long, it's been about 16 years. So I've seen it, and I've worked in all different kinds, whether it was a hotel bar or a restaurant bar or, like I said, events. A lot of what I write from comes from, what is the word? Just personal experience. Things that have actually happened that I either twist completely or exaggerate. or I just tell you this straight flat what happened. And
that's a secret. That's
yeah,
a great secret. That's a recipe right there.
Yes, and the most important thing with that is because whenever something happens, I'm so lucky we have the technology we have these days, because I can immediately put it in my phone, just like story about Haley drunk girl, at the bar, blah, 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 and then I'll go home and write out the whole thing, and then to show it to friends and see if it's funny. That's another great thing. Have friends that support your dreams, because I email my friends so many times like, do I just think this is funny, or is this funny? And they'll either tell me straight up like, no, that's awful, or like, I really like it, but it just, what's the point? So yeah, I get a lot of good advice from that. Constructive criticism, that took a long time for me to understand, but it's very important. And so a lot of the stuff that I write about comes from just things I've seen firsthand, to be honest. I think that's also the most important, because it's the most relatable, and it's the most real.
So tell me some more about places you have traveled to, in a sense of like have you been to New Orleans before?
No, it's so
so
funny. I'm writing a show about that, and I've never been there once.
You see, so that's why I want to talk about that. Like how that's so deep, and that's so like critical. Like, where do you Okay, so you never, because they want to know this. So you've never been to New Orleans before, but how do you do you Google? Do you speak to people that have been to New Orleans? Do you get in contact?
Yeah.
Do you hang with people that's in the area?
Right.
Break that down.
And that's actually
because it's show business. That's crazy how show business is. It's like, like I could write a film, but I've never been to Australia.
Right. No, and I'm actually so glad you asked that, because when Armando first pulled me on, I was like, I've never been to New Orleans, and he said, no, I like that. Because a lot of sometimes he'll write stuff and I'll tell him, be like, that's ridiculous. And he'd be like, that's what happens on Bourbon Street at 6:00 in the morning. And so he does kind of like that I haven't been there, because I think it helps him realize like maybe this, because he wants this to reach an audience obviously outside of New Orleans, and not everyone has been there or lived there. And everyone on my writers team is actually from there. So I get to have that as, part of the team, but they also do like that I've never been there, so that they can make sure that it's not too it's called Life on Bourbon, so obviously it's going to be very focused on Bourbon Street and that whole setting. And there's, Mardi Gras festivals and we all know all kinds of craziness that happens there, but they don't want to take it too far, make it too unrelatable, so that it does expand an audience. I get sometimes frustrated, because I do want to be able to write without them, because like I said, Armando lives in Orlando. Will, he's one of our other ones. He's from, or not Orlando, I'm sorry. Armando lives in New Orleans. And then one of our other writers who's from there lives in Augusta. And then me and Aaron are here in Atlanta. So it's very hard to get us all together. And so he's like, just, feel free to write some stuff by yourself. And I feel like I don't know where to go. I feel like I've had a wall, because I haven't been there. I don't have enough experience to, and like I told you earlier, like I pull most of my writing from things I've seen and experiences I've had.
Right.
So that part's been frustrating. We're filming in June, and it's interesting. I'm going to be writing for this show, and the first time I'm going to see this city is when we're filming for this.
Wow.
So I'm very excited to go.
So that's pretty cool, because you get to now you get to put the writing to the place, the scenery.
And this has happened, or we've done this before. Me and my buddy wanted to write for we wanted to write a restaurant show, because we know it is, I don't even want to say good, bad, and ugly. It is bad, terrible, and disgusting. The restaurant industry can be. And we wanted to make it sort of a dramedy, and we actually wrote 2 scenes and then filmed them. It was awful when we watched it. It was terrible, but it was sort of fun to watch the writing come to life. I definitely suggest, if you do want to get into screenwriting, because like I said, with the technology we have these days that I didn't have when I was younger, you can even film it from your phone, and definitely see it come to life, because it gives you a good idea if it's good or bad. Because like I said, when we first wrote those 2 scenes, I thought they were gold. We filmed them, we edited them, we haven't posted them or anything. And we probably spent about $500 from beginning to end doing all that.
I'm curious.
For 2 scenes.
I'm curious, right? To what did you do before or screenwriting? How, like, okay, the prequel, like,
Yeah.
I know you were speaking about math.
Right.
So do you have that, like, did you go to school for that? Or,
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, I have a degree in mathematics.
Wow.
I really wanted to be a math teacher for high school students, teaching calculus. COVID killed that dream. I switched from math education to mathematics to keep sort of the doors open. I don't know what I want to do with that math degree. I love math. I think it's very important. I'm actually right now I do tutor. I tutor high school students for calculus, and then I also tutor engineers from a school called Southern Polytech. And because they had calculus, mostly for calculus 2, because calculus 2 is the hardest math there ever is. But I that's one of my favorite jobs. I really love not just teaching them how to do math, because let's be honest, and they're right, everyone's going to say this, I'm never going to need this, I'm never going to use this formula. And you're right, you're not.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think screenwriting, do you think you use that?
That's
the formula?
what I was going to say. So math will always be in school. Like I said, I know you're never going to use almost all of those formulas.
I think you do use the formulas without knowing.
But what it does is it exercises your brain.
Right. Walking, certain things you do, but without you knowing. Until like you get into like carpentry and certain things. Like,
well, yeah, and what I always try to tell my engineer students, because like I said, they want to fight me so much on this math. When you're an engineer, when you become an engineer and you get that career, you are going to be a problem solver. You're going to be a builder. And if you don't get your math right, or if you cannot problem solve correctly, this is how buildings fall and bridges collapse. And, software don't make it, and apps don't, apps shut down. I mean, you really have to be able to, and sometimes it sucks. I've had to chain myself to a desk. I've cried over problems I couldn't figure out. But like I said, it's an exercise for your brain, and it's so important. And guys, don't fight the math. Do your math. It's practice. It's great, and it translates to all different fields. Like I said, if you turn in a script that doesn't have the right formula, no one's gonna read it.
wow.
So that math taught me how important that skill is.
Wow. So like, take me into your math mind. Right, so what type of engineers are you tutoring right now? Like all types, software?
Students.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're students. Like I said, they're Southern Polytech. So they're, whether it's mechanical, civil engineers, software engineers, because everyone at that school has to take calculus too. And like I said, it's some of the hardest math. Sometimes I don't even know if I know it. Wow. It's important. A lot of it's so calculus is the study of the rate of change. So you've got a car going from A to B, and during that time from A to B, whether it speeds up or slow down, calculus by the formula can study the rate of change, if you will. That's the most important part. And then there's also ways where you can get volumes and areas by using what we like to call the derivative or integrals. We don't have to get into that. Oh.
I want you to get into it.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't know if anyone's going to find this interesting, but I do, because I think it's amazing that you can find the area of something, especially when it comes to curves and spheres and things like that, by just using just by using formulas.
I do think people will find it interesting because, like you're saying, like, see, with what we're doing with this show, we want to speak on different avenues other than the typical avenues that people usually know or usually choose. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's why I wanted to get into the screenwriter part, because you're diving into the screenwriter world. You're a mathematician. And that intertwine, and like you said, a lot of people are scared of math. But knowing math could make you millions of dollars. Yeah. Like Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, who else? It's just so many. Brilliant minds that's in tech, that's in the math world, that's Robert Smith, it helps you with business. It helps you be more business savvy. It helps you crunch numbers. It helps you not I don't want to use the word jerk yourself, like
Right.
in a sense, no pun intended, but meaning like when you know math, you can ask for what you're worth, and you can understand how to break down numbers and see things that some people would
Which is
never
so
be able
important.
to see.
I mean, math to me, no, not to me. These are facts. These are not opinions. Math explains the world. I mean, whether you're talking about, gravitational pull of planets or business economy or business economics, if you will. Because there's a buddy of mine. He was showing me some of the stuff he does for his job. I can't really even explain this, so I'm not going to try. But I looked at him and I was like, Andy, you're doing calculus and you don't even know it. Like, it's so funny to me how people just want to fight math, and then as they become adults, wow, I really wish I buckled down in high school and middle school and just got at least some basic algebra. And I'm always just like, I know, that's what I tell my students. And another thing that people also don't understand when it comes to math is, even as someone who I feel like it's been a natural skill for me, I still have to practice. It's something I still have to work at. A lot of people don't like it because it involves homework. Well, you have to. You can't just watch a teacher do a problem. You have to sit down and do it yourself. Otherwise, how do you expect to learn? So, there's a lot of practice that's involved that people don't want to do. Again, it's like going to the gym. If you don't do it, it's very difficult to pick up with later. And you can't just watch someone lift weights and then, look at your biceps. It just doesn't work like that. But I would say definitely when it comes to going into also screenwriting, the most important thing, because you were talking about avenues to take, you cannot do it alone. That's the number one thing. If you want to get into this, you've got to put yourself out there and network, and you cannot stop trying. It's going to take some time. And I mean, look at you and I. We met at a restaurant a week ago. You asked me what book I was reading, and now we're here. I mean, sometimes you're just going to have to talk to a stranger, and it can be weird. And it can be hard, and they might be rude to you, and then you just say thank you and good night.
Right.
But
I'm not scared to talk to anybody.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'll talk to
and I love that. That's great. And you're gonna go far, because like I said, it doesn't even matter if you're getting into screenwriting. Almost anything in this world, you have to network. You have to know how to talk to people and approach them, and also the most important part is sell yourself.
Break that down.
Sell yourself. Let's see. What?
Sell yourself meaning, like, how do you sell yourself? Like, how, some people don't know what that means. Some people could take it as sell your soul.
Right. I see what you're saying. So, I guess for me, I be myself, because I'm not going to change anything for who I am for another person. That's insane. I'm in my 30s. This is who I am. You're just going to have to deal with it. Not deal with it. That's a terrible thing to say. But definitely be yourself. Hold on to your passions. Find out what motivates you. And put yourself out there, and the right people will come along. And that's what I mean by sort of sell yourself. Sometimes you're going to get rejected. Actually, a lot of times you're going to get rejected. You can't please everyone on this earth. But I say the most important thing with selling yourself is just being true to who you are. And don't be afraid to be funny. Don't be afraid to open up and, be honest. And like I said, sometimes there's going to be rejection with that, and you feel like you didn't successfully sell yourself, but the right people will be in your circle and in your network group.
You're right about that, because like at the end of the day, you have to. I read this book. It's called Unlabeled. It's by Mark Echo. Mm-hmm. And one thing I learned with certain people, they might have a certain. They might have like a certain thumb screw. Okay. Everybody has a certain thumb screw that somebody else doesn't have. Right. Like a certain utility or a certain tool. Okay. And in the book, he says, there's nothing wrong with using your 3 unfair advantages. Mm-hmm. So, like, okay, let's just say a guy that's 6'6". Okay. That's his unfair advantage to get in the NBA. Right, I see what you're saying. Now, let's just say he's tall, right? Mm-hmm. And quote unquote the handsome, whatever. His unfair advantage is that, like, I don't know if it's most women.
Okay.
But they always say, I want a guy that's 6 foot something.
Well,
right?
we just want to feel cute and small next to you.
Right. So I think in business, because that's his unfair advantage. Because like usually like tall guys get the management positions, right? Or go to the NBA or like so it's. What would you think your 3 unfair advantages would be? Like I know mine. Mine would be like just seeing you at a restaurant and starting to talk to you.
Yeah.
You're reading the book and I'm just trying to network and get like me. I'm not. That's my unfair advantage. I'm not scared to go off the deep end. With networking and meeting somebody.
Yeah.
What's another one of mine?
Mine first and foremost is comedic timing. Because it cannot be taught. I took an improv class, which I recommend anyone do. Take an improv class, especially if you want to get into screenwriting. It totally helps with the creative process. I know some people don't. Like, I even know some actor friends that are terrified of it just because they don't have that sort of comedic timing. Because, like I said, it cannot be taught. It's very natural. Jennifer Aniston, she wouldn't have been on Friends if she didn't have comedic timing.
So that's one of your unfair advantages.
Yes.
Comedic timing.
Yep.
Comedic timing.
It's probably the most important part in comedy is the timing.
One of my other unfair advantages, skill.
Okay.
I have certain skills that I learned over the years of growing. Like I've been in tech from a young age, technology. So me having that skill makes me an asset to people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one of my unfair advantages is skill.
Yeah.
Like having this skill, but when you have a skill, you can mix it with ambition.
Right.
You can have a skill, but the ambition has to mix with the skill.
Right.
It has to be like, like with me, like, I'm not afraid of the word no. Like, I'm not like, I will beat down 100 doors until I get the word yes.
Yeah.
I'm not
that is a good
that
skill. Because so many people I know were like, oh, you'd be great in sales, but I'm terrified of the word no. And if you want to do sales, you have to hear no as, I guess, like an opportunity to either do something better or I don't know, get.
Right.
For me, it was just like, all I hear is like a door, like a slam of the door,
right.
And it hurts.
Right. It's just like
So that's a good skill to have.
Yeah, like I'm not scared of the word no, and being an engineer, network engineer, and technology. Because I'm great at project management and technology. Like I could start something from A and get it to Z. Some people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
They don't know, like even in business, they don't even know how to get like their business license. It's like, where do I go? So I think that's the part where the problem solving.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that part of it, Well, I guess that's why there's different professions and there's different business avenues. What do you think is your other unfair advantage?
Definitely people skills. Like you said earlier, I'm very extroverted, so I think that's definitely helped me. Because I know people see on the internet all the time just joking memes of, oh, like I hate people. That drives me crazy because, we are put on this earth to help each other out. And I think it's very important to constantly surround yourself with people trying to make it better as well, and just all different kinds of fields. Like you said, if I wanted to go out and get a business license, I know at least 4 friends I could call that have started up their own business, gotten a license. We can't get anywhere in this world individually. We all have to help each other out. So I wouldn't be in anywhere near screenwriting if I didn't have the connections that I have in the networking. And I just think having people skills is one of the most important things no matter what you want to do, because you're going to have to work with people. It's just inevitable.
Right. It is inevitable. It's not easy for some.
No.
But
But you have to put yourself as someone wants to work with. Like I said, I wanted to be a math teacher. There's plenty of people that have degrees in that, but the whole point of the interview process for any job is, do I want to work with this person?
Right. So let's get into this, right? Mm-hmm. So you're saying it's okay to have multiple hustles.
Absolutely.
Right. So you're
absolutely.
Because some people don't feel like what they say, the jack of all trades thing, but I read the jack of all trades saying, and they missed out on a lot in that saying, because they said, like you're a master of none. Mm-hmm. But in the whole saying, it's better to have more than one. A lot of people think.
Yeah, I think it's very important to have just extra hustles. I'm not saying it's something that's mandatory, required. But you also want to make sure you don't fill up your plate too much. Because a buddy of mine.
But hold on, right? But you're an educator, mm-hmm. and then you went into screenwriting, so it's like an avenue. Like, even though it's math, but it's still problem solving,
right?
In the screenwriting. So I do think that people should like dive into that, like kind of connect the synergy,
right?
Bring the synergies together. What about your buddy? Go.
Well, what I was gonna say is, because before COVID hit, I was a full-time student. I was tutoring, and then I had 3 jobs. Well, one of my 3 jobs was tutoring, and then I had 2 different gigs, bartending. I was bartending at a hotel, and then I was bartending events, and I was so overloaded, and I never had time for myself. And I think that's very important to do, at least for maybe even just 20 minutes a day if you can, or and also have at least one day off a week for yourself, or whether for yourself, I don't mean you have to be alone in a room, however that means to you. If that's spending time with friends, family, reading a book in the park. I think side hustles are, I wouldn't even call it doesn't have to be a side hustle. You could always have a hobby. Like I said, improv, that's one of my favorite hobbies, and nothing's gonna come of it. I don't plan on being an actor or being on stage or doing stand-up or anything, but it's definitely fun to have something to do that I enjoy. And I definitely encourage people to have that, but don't overload yourself. There's no good can come from it, because you get.
Tell me more.
You get tired, you get irritated, and like I said, if you don't take any time for yourself and you're always putting yourself out there for other people, you're going to be wearing yourself out. And you also don't want to half-ass. You don't want to.
Be you.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say the A word. But you don't want to half-ass a bunch of different jobs. Also, like, you don't want to put the bare minimum on all that just because you got yourself, spreading all over the place. So definitely make sure that you're able to put yourself 110% into every single thing that you do. And then, like I said, also definitely make sure you have time for yourself, because he doesn't do that, and it's affecting his work.
Do you think, what about relationship-wise, right? Let's dive into like business and relationship.
Okay.
Ah, man, I have these conversations, right? Do you think it's okay, like, in a dating world, like how do you see it? Like, I don't. You don't have to say if you're dating anyone on here or anything, but we're gonna go into hypotheticals, right? Okay. Yeah, because do you want to date somebody in the same field you are? Like, let's just say you're an entrepreneur, right? There was a young lady. She was online. I think her name is B. Simone. Is it B. Simone? I think it is. She said she only dates entrepreneurs, right, or business owners. She cannot date a person with like a 9 to 5. She can't date them because it's not about the money. It's about, they don't understand her time, her commitment, what she has to do, the tenacity, the grind, the grit, the struggle, the ambition. Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, I agree. I see what you're saying.
So do could you separate the two? Could you date somebody, or do they have to
For me, I can separate it. I don't really care what you do as long as you make an honest living. Okay. Right now, I'm single as the singleness. Singles. Yeah, I don't even have a prospect, but I'm not looking for anything serious, so it's kind of hard for me to put my mind in this. But I actually have dated people in the same field as me.
Is it better? Do you feel?
I do. No, I would not recommend it. For me personally, like I said, there's pros and cons. When I was working in an office doing accounts receivable for a staffing company, I was dating the director of finance.
Right.
And the pro was that, yes, we got to spend time with each other at work, and that was nice. But also, when we were in our own personal off time, we would talk about work. And I just hate that.
So for you, it's a no-go?
Yeah, I would rather someone from a different industry, just because. But also, there's, like I said, there's cons to that, because then the schedule, like the reason why she wants to date someone who's an entrepreneur, like you were saying, is because their schedules are, whether or not they're similar, they're more understanding of stuff. It is kind of hard for me right now if I were to date someone with a 9 to 5, because my weekends are work and during the week I have off.
Right. So you think it's the scheduling? Like yeah, you're right, because like somebody I know, they were like, well, and it's a woman, and she's like, well, I'm a business owner, or I get to call the shots. Right. And she was basically speaking like, what if I want to just go to LA for lunch? Mm-hmm. Like, what if I want to? She wants her other half to be able to, okay, I can do that too with you. Let's fly to New Orleans, LA for lunch today. Yeah. We have that freedom, the free spirit. Right. But, some people, they don't have that opportunity to do that. So, some people don't, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And some people, it matters because of certain things. And, and I think it goes into, like, it's not even just to go to the LA situation. It's more of the...
Flexibility.
Flexibility. But can I speak to you about the dreams? Because, some people don't want it. Yes. Some people don't relate. They just, I'm secure. I'm making the 6 figures. I'm making whatever I make. I go to the job. I don't bring it home with me. Versus an entrepreneur... they bring it home with them. They lived it. They breathe it. They eat it. So, that's...
you're sort of selling me on dating an entrepreneur right now. No, because you're right.
Am I selling you?
Yeah, no, that makes so much more sense, because, they do... When I say flexibility, it's also because they're the only one running the show. A lot of, they also don't have a lot of time, free time at least. But, no, I definitely... My father was an entrepreneur. And I respect that, because there's constant goals being made. There's constant, like, we got to do better. And because...
That's what it is. It's the goals. Like with me, I could pretty much go anywhere I want anytime, because of, doing business and contract and networking, so I'll tell my story. But that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, I want to go to Miami today. Or sometimes, like, even with people in business... Right. It seems like you can't even have a conversation with them. They get frustrated. Yeah. Because they don't even... I don't know. Is it because they don't understand? What do you think? Or is it just, this is not my forte? I don't care.
I don't think they understand. I mean, well, and also, like you said, people just get so comfortable. I couldn't... I used to do collections for Honda. Worst job in the world. Oh my God, just the PTSD of thinking about it. But anyways, it was just a gigantic room full of cubicles, headsets, and just people. I mean, and the people that we made good money, and we had a set schedule, but I just could not understand how people could stay in that job for more than 4 months. Like, I was just that mundane. But some people, that's happiness. It's comfort. They don't need to set goals for themselves. They're making their money. They go home to their jobs and they pay their car off, and they put gas in the car and celebrate New Year's and do it all over again. I mean, it's just that's for some people, and there's nothing wrong with that. We actually need people like that in this world. But yeah, for me, no. Not at all. No.
I'm glad we touched on that though, because like even what you're saying, like maybe I want an entrepreneur, maybe that's the person that
I never thought about that.
You never thought about that. So you feel like
I just know I don't like to date people I exclusively work with, because that's just a terrible decision.
Gotcha. So it's basically you're saying, well, hey, in business, exclusively working with them may be a no-go, but an entrepreneur personality it's a goal. Now, what if they want to partner with you, like in a business, like is it
as long as I'm passionate about it?
Yeah, like in screenwriting, like let's just say your guy or gal, I don't know, but in business, is that okay? Or do you feel like you have to be in a different department? They have to be in a different department, and y'all just meet of the minds.
Yeah, it depends on what the business is.
It's basically personality, as long as you turn it off.
Because I used to work for a catering company for about 7 years that was owned by a husband and wife. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, if they didn't have that company together, they'd be divorced. They hate each other. Yeah, so, that's, like I said, it just depends. I don't think I would go into a business with my significant other just because I would just like to keep my personal and business life separate. For me, I mean, I'm not, I think a lot of times businesses do get better because it is run by a husband and wife or a brother and a sister. That's not for me because, like I said, when I used to date a guy that I worked in a company with, I hated that we would be at dinner and having a lovely evening, but we would just be complaining, or not even, it doesn't even have to be complaining. It would just, our off time would be filled with talking about work, and I just didn't. Well, I guess, but at the same time, I didn't like that job. So that's another thing. So I guess if I was passionate about it, with like if I was to be with one of my guys on the writing team, or maybe an actor for the show that we're working on,
that might be a little.
That would be okay, and I wouldn't mind talking about that outside of work because
is your passion. Okay, yeah. Speak on passion. Speak on purpose and value. Like speak on passion. Like, what is passion to you? Like, what is your definition of passion?
Passion, what gets you up in the morning? What makes you want to make the world a better place? I'm not even talking about money, but just what motivates you into what makes you happy. Like I said, why do you get out of bed? Why do you keep putting gas in the car? Why do you keep turning it on? What's keeping the power light on? I mean, it's so important. Like I said, for me, it's people, making them laugh. That's what I'm passionate about. The sound of laughter from something from something I've said or created, it's the best feeling in the entire world. And I thought it was something I could just do with friends, and it turns out I can make a career out of it, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. And it took me a second to find it because, again, like I said, with the film industry, I kind of thought that business was just sort of unattainable. It's very hard to get into, and I felt like it's something you have to know people, which is somewhat true, but there's no shame in finding your passion in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s. It's probably been there all along. You just haven't acknowledged it. So.
Right. So yeah, this is I love this. I love this interview because it's getting your angle of the startup, the startup of your journey.
Yeah, we're at the beginning.
The screenwriter journey, the startup of the screenwriter journey.
And what's so funny is you never know when these things are going to start. Because about a year ago, I was working at a dive bar, making insane good money, and I wasn't really going anywhere. And then I got fired from it, and I just remember thinking, like, this is it. How am I going to make money? What am I going to do with my life? And not that I was suicidal, but I was just like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And then, a couple months later, I started this project. I've got a much better job that I'm happier with. You just never know in these things. You think one door shutting. I know this is so cliche and everyone's heard it, but sometimes when a door closes, a window opens. And right. It's hard to see that at first, but, and it's going to keep happening in my life, I'm sure. But just, it really does. The windows open from all over and you just never know.
Now, let me ask you a question. In 5 years, let's start. Okay, so what would be your short-term goal for you in a screenwriter and the math work? Like, what is your short-term goal?
To film this pilot right now. That's the short-term goal. Long-term is to get this, on Netflix's #1 slot.
Okay, so the long-term is to get the Netflix. So In 5 years, 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
Let's just say 5 to 10 years. Where do you see yourself as, like, where do you want to see yourself in
creating another show.
Create another show?
Yeah. I want to stick, if we can keep this one going. I don't see it running as, like Friends, like going for 10 years. But I do, I see some seasons out of it. And then I would like to move on to creating another show. I also do want to get into some features. I have some ideas that I too soon to talk about them, but
right.
They're romantic comedies because that's
right.
my favorite genre.
I hope to see you with an Emmy.
Don't make me cry. I've practiced in the shower with a shampoo bottle all the time. Like,
right.
Wow.
Right, like
so unexpected. I don't even know what to say, even though I've been practicing this since I was 8.
Right. See. I don't know if you've seen Kanye West documentary. He said he used to walk to the train track and practice his Grammy speech.
And you know what? That's manifesting. That is exactly what that is. And
that's why I see an Emmy.
Yeah.
In your future. See how you can tell you. How did I know that?
And maybe once I do win that Emmy, we'll pull this footage up and just.
This is what this is about.
Yeah.
It's about getting the background of the startups, the business journey, and people who are making $100 million.
Right.
We wanna go to the avenue and give you your roses and your and see your journey. We love the journey, whether you starting, whether you're in the middle, or whether you at the top of the tippity top. We want to hear it all, because let me tell you something. A lot of times people get looked down on in the beginning of the journey. And I like to be there to just spark and see the journey at the beginning on each level. So I'm glad to get to see you in the start of your journey, the rise of your journey as a screenwriter.
Yeah.
And you giving me knowledge about, because you're like, a mathematician is like computer science, so you gave
Exactly right. Yeah.
I do feel like having those two things, you add value and purpose to the world, and for people who didn't know what avenue to go to, they get to see your story, and they get to pick from the two, either or guess what, you can do both.
Yes.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
So thank you. Is there anything you want to say to the world?
Just keep making the world a better place. Love your neighbor, love yourself. Always love yourself first. Always put yourself first in a very positive way. If anyone wants to follow the journey, my Instagram is Paige Stephanie and the number 1, PAGESTEPHANIE 1. And if you're an aspiring actor, we've got some characters that need to be filled in. And again, if you also want to get in any kind of screenwriting or film, please definitely reach out. I've got connections and make it happen. Oh, and also if you need a math tutor, I got you there.
That's what's up. That's what.
Yeah.
Now, but before we close off.
Okay.
The numbers of like, cause I heard screenwriters get 6 figures, right?
SNL. Those writers for SNL, those that do those skits get about, I think, 200, maybe 150K a year. I mean, you can, or maybe even up. I might be making this up, but no. Screenwriters, if you know what you're doing and you can get yourself, they can make 6 figures easily. 6
figures. Have you ever heard of like a multi-million-dollar screenwriter?
Maybe Aaron Sorkin. I don't know how much he's worth, but yeah, I mean, he did West Wing, Social Network. I mean, he's got so many credentials under his belt, so he might be. I'm sure he's a multimillionaire. Okay,
and math part, the math tutoring, because we want to know the numbers. People, how much a math tutor can make?
I'm not ashamed. So it depends on the level, if it's high school or college.
Yeah.
It's actually funny, I should be charging more for college because that's the harder stuff, but I empathize with the fact that they're students and they have a lot less money, whereas when the high school, it's just supply and demand. But anyways, with the high school kids, it's their parents that are paying for it, so I usually charge like $75 to $100 an hour, and then for them, it depends also if it's a friend, because the clients I get from college or through friends of friends, sometimes it's just a meal or $25 for the day, and I'm very generous. That's generous.
Yeah, we gotta connect on some things later on.
Yeah, and I'm probably selling myself short with that one,
Right,
but
right.
it's more of just me just trying to help out lost souls.
Right.
Because, like I said, they're engineer students, and I want to see them succeed. And math, calculus 2 is the hardest math. Whereas when I'm doing pre-calc to a high school cheerleader, yeah, I'll charge a little more for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Seriously,
No
this
problem,
was lovely.
No problem.